Okay, so this is part two, and I believe I left off with the rumors that people were saying that she was a homewrecker, and I didn't understand why they were saying that because in her defense at the time, and I was saying in her defense, you know, the reported beginning of their relationship didn't start till after he was divorced. Now, it was 3 months after his divorce was settled. I don't know if it was finalized because I don't know how long it takes for divorce to get. I think it takes longer than a few months. It has to go through the court system, and I think it takes longer than 3 months for it to be final. But it can be recorded. I mean, you can file for divorce and then reach a settlement because his wife was trying to contest the prenup for cheating allegations, and they reached a private settlement. And that settlement is not disclosed. And so that's what they're saying, that she was a homewrecker. And I'm like, well, you know, according to their love story, they started dating in August. I've read some stories where they say 6 months after his divorce. No, it was 3 months. Look it up. Like I said before, you can Google everything. It was 3 months. At the time that they got together, Nikki and Bree weren't on the main roster. They weren't with the WWE. They had left. So my next common sense question would be, how they hook up? How was he able to call her? They never really get into that. I think there was one story they told where they tried to say they met at Comic Con. He saw her at Comic Con, but when I looked it up, he was there on the first day of the Comic Con and she was there on the last day. And this came few years after their little love story. Then they tried to, people was calling her a homewrecker. I guess they threw that little tidbit out there because they figure, oh, we both was at Comic Con. We'll just use that story. But people who were not on the main roster did Comic Con on the last day. They were there the last day. Main superstars did Comic Con on the first day. So again, how were you able to call her for a first date? And if you already had her number, why? Because you were married just a few months prior to that. So there was a video I saw of John when he used to answer 5 questions. And he used to answer 5 questions for his fans. And the interviewer asked about a TV show. I think it was the Gossip Girls. I don't know. But it was a television show girls watched, females watched. And they asked him if he knew about the show. He said, oh, yeah, I know about the show. And went on to give detail about the show and the storyline. And he was like, yeah, the Bella Twins watched the show. And I'm like, pause. How do you know what the Bella Twins watch? And when I looked up when the video was posted, it was during the time that this man was married. So how is it that you're a married man and you know what the Bella Twins watch enough to know the entire storyline of the show? So you're somewhere sitting down with them, keying it up, amongst other things, probably allegedly I'm assuming. Whereas you're watching the whole show with them, week after week after week. So you're hanging with them. And Bree, if everybody knows, was already dating Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. So Nicole was the single one. So what are you, John, as a married man, hanging around the Bella Twins, watching the shows that they watch during the time that you were a married man? And we all know that he had his cheating allegations during the time that he was married. Maybe people in the comments, they don't identify themselves. Sometimes there's no picture. Maybe somebody put something near that we didn't know. Because I read quite a few comments calling her a homewrecker. Now, this is one of my assumptions that I said that there were some assumptions based on their story. I think she may have been one of his side chicks. Allegedly. I'm going to throw it out there. One of his side chicks. They came up with the bright idea. Well, they didn't come up with Total Divas. Total Divas was actually an idea from another female wrestler. It was her idea. And she said she used to talk about it a lot with Stephanie. But maybe she wasn't marketable, and maybe Stephanie saw the Bella twins as more marketable. How the Total Divas franchise became theirs, I don't know. But like I said, maybe they just saw money in marketing, and the twin factor. And so, there was already Bree dating Brian, so they figured, John, we already know you're screwing around with Nicole. Why don't make it official? Make it seem like you're dating her, and we can create this TV show to make more money, to put more eyes on wrestling, which it really did not. Okay? There's quite a few of my friends I tried to have them watch Total Divas and go, that don't not into wrestling. And I said, okay, because of the show, do you want to watch wrestling? And they said no. They didn't even like the show. They been stopped watching the show way before me. Mainly because of Nikki Bella's character. The first few seasons of Total Divas, her character was horrible. And they decided to clean up her image. Okay? Based on all the negative comments she was getting about her behavior, self-entitled, arrogant, mean-spirited. She was all of that. That's your Total Diva. Go back and look at those first 3 seasons. That's your Total Diva. Calling her sister the B. They bleeped it out, but when I was watching Total Diva, she didn't call John the B word. How you gonna call your man the B word? You have what you have today because of him. And you gonna call him the B? A B word? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so that was the speculation, that she was a homewrecker. But I don't know. I'm just telling you the information that they put out as far as their story and things that I've seen. Like I said, I saw John Cena back when he was married, and he referred to a show in detail that the Bella twins watch. And my only question is, why do you know about this show? Why are you hanging with the Bella twins and you're a married man? It's my only question. And that's one of the things when I ask, use your common sense. Use your common sense. None of their interviews make any sense. Fast forward to now, where they're claiming they broke up. Well, did you know, earlier this year, she did an interview where she said they broke up. And a week later, he came back to her saying that he wanted to have kids, and he changed his stance based on the movie, Blockers. How you change your mind about having kids, which is a lifelong commitment, because of a movie? You've played a father before in a few other movies. So why Blockers all of a sudden? It just don't make any sense. One of them things we go, that don't make, But you got the little 12 and 13-year-olds and the little silly adults who believe the story. I don't believe the story because it doesn't make sense. As a grown person with a brain, it don't make sense. That all the years you said no. Blockers is the movie that changed your stance on having kids. Okay, John, whatever. So that was the first time he called it off, and then went back to her. Then right before the premiere of the show, they ended again, and he changes his mind again. So that's twice. That's twice. But you only refer to once. Every little interview, magazine article, TMZ, Access Hollywood, or whatever, they only mention the one time. Nikki Bella broke it off because she finally decided that she wanted to have kids. No, she didn't finally decide. She always wanted to have kids. And why you think a man changed his mind and he didn't already called it off twice, according to your story. It's not according to my story, according to your story. All right, so this is the end of part 2. I'll come back with my part 3.